What's up YouTube, this is Lucas with FoxHawk Gaming, and today we have a few new updates. Arcana is now a roaming duelist until July 26th, double gate keys until July 31st, and prismatic and glossy cards at the card trader. So let's take a look at that first, and then we'll cover Arcana's rewards. Okay, so how this works, many of you have probably seen this, but I'll go over it really quickly. They rotate through cards in the card trader, and if you have a card, a glossy option appears, and if you have a glossy one, I assume that a prismatic appears. Now, you want to reserve these for farming cards like Ryoku, maybe two-headed Thunder Dragon for standard dueling. But overall, you're not going to be able to have a lot of these glossies and prismatics, which is kind of disappointing, but it keeps the value of prismatics really high, which I think was their aim. So probably not as hype as most of us were looking forward to, but it's an option and it's a place to dump your rare jewels. Okay, let's take a look at Arcana's rewards. This seems to cover most of his new rewards, except for I don't think they include the new rare, which removes a card from the graveyard on flip, but eh. Okay, so Dark Eradicator Warlock, you got a special summon from your hand by tributing one Dark Magician. And we can't special summon it other ways, and each time a normal spell card is activated, it burns your opponent for 1,000 damage after it resolves. So that's kind of a hefty cost. We gotta go down a card immediately. We lose our Dark Magician really support cards, and we don't gain any more attack and defense. We just burn with every normal spell card activated, which, while very powerful, we really have to build around it because most of the spells being played are quick play. Enemy controllers, super rush. There are regular spells, but nothing consistent enough to where running this guy is as a bonus. We have to build around him, so I'm not too excited about that. Anti-magic arrows is probably what everyone's excited about, and me personally, I'm not sold on it yet because it's purely a tempo card. This is one of those things that if your OTKs are consistent while being down one card, then this card is going to see play. Because this card puts you down a card, but it really limits your opponent's options. They can, Sphere Karibo out of an OTK if you have it on board. So, powerful, influential card. However, going down a card makes it very tough to analyze this card perfectly. So I really would like to test it before I'm sold or not sold on it. We have Naturia right now, which is pretty much an OTK monster, and would really like to benefit from your opponent not being able to activate spell and trap cards, so this has something it can go in. Of course, whether it'll be influential enough has yet to be seen, and of course, running something like 3 of these, if you draw 2, you're in a pretty bad spot. So generally, going down cards in this game for tempo hasn't been as good as pure card advantage or value one-for-oneing. So we'll see what this card does. Okay, Dark Magician, the red version, pretty nice alt art. Not much to say about it other than that. Me personally, I only have 2 Dark Magician, so this might be a nice drop for me. And aside from that, there's nothing notable. This is pretty bad. Chosen One is pretty awful, requiring both RNG and to go down like 2 cards. Another noteworthy part about the event is that if you duel him 15 times, you get anti-magic arrows. So probably the card with the most potential from this event, and we get one for free. That's a pretty nice gesture by Konami. anyways, be on the lookout for our Arcana farming decks coming up. The nature of roaming duelists means that it takes time in order to get enough duels to test consistency of various decks against each other, and when we drop a farming deck, we really like to make sure that it's the real deal and not just clickbait. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be hoping for good Arcana spawns. And so far, it's looking like Unhappy Girl is pretty promising. Notable cards is that you might be able to get to work with Labyrinth Builder by using Wild Tornadoes, because the main issue with Labyrinth Builder is that he has equips to get over your Labyrinth wall. And he gets to like 3200 attack on his Dark Magician, and he has Dark Magic attack to prevent you from interacting with him. So having Wild Tornado gets rid of his Dark Magician, or it gets rid of his equip spell. So Dimension Gates, of course, will deal with the 1,000 Knives. So overall, I'd still probably say the Unhappy Girl's the best bet, but that's all just a hypothesis looking at his deck. Noteworthy that I didn't go over is that he also drops some Yugi drops, Magic Box and Diffusion Wave Motion, which is pretty not hype in my opinion, but it's basically our Graceful and Skull dice at this point for the Arcana event. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.